everybody, Citizen Smith on the road, driving across America, day 5. Heading through southwestern Wyoming right now. Wide open wilderness. It's really beautiful. And the weather's been great the whole trip. Since I left Scranton, Pennsylvania, I've had nothing but blue skies, especially when I hit Illinois, Ohio, Nebraska. I've had nothing but blue skies. Today, overcast, which is kind of nice. Some blue, but no rain or snow right now, and don't have the bright sun in my eyes, which is a good feeling for a while, because these vast open plains, the sun's really bright, especially with snow still on the ground. Not as much snow here, but still on the ground. Anyway, I spent the night in Rock Springs, and I had a wonderful filet mignon at the White Mountain Warehouse Saloon, a local joint that the hotel clerk told me about. It's 5 minutes down the road from the hotel. I sat at the bar, wasn't many people, and the older bartender, a woman in her late 60s, turned out to be the owner too. 20 years her and her husband owned it, and she recommended the center cut filet, which was from the local cattle ranch down the street. I got it, and let me tell you, it was the best steak ever. Wow, was that delicious. Well worth it. I rewarded myself with a nice steak meal in Wyoming after 700 miles of driving. So as I was talking to her, I said, what's the industry in the community? Because it's a pretty large community. You know, Walmart, a little mall, and for in the middle of nowhere in southwest Wyoming. And she said, well, it was oil, but Biden had an executive order that shut down the oil facilities here. And I said, Biden had an executive order to shut it down. Wouldn't it take some time? She goes, no, we lost thousands of jobs this last week. She was a very nice person, but... And then the gentleman came out from the back to talk about it. And he said the same thing, that, you know, this green energy is ruining our community. It's cost us thousands of jobs, and Biden's driving the oil industry out of Wyoming. I did some reading afterwards, and I found out, well, first of all, the 3 companies that they told me the players there in Rock Springs, Schlesinger and Baker Hughes and Halliburton, they were the 3 players that jointly operated a fracking facility, and they shut it down over a year ago. The hotel clerk today told me, to clarify things, because, well, as I read, there's a gluttony of oil in the market, and fracking created that gluttony because it's easier to get, more accessible. Texas produced so much it overwhelmed the markets throughout the world. So they shut down the facility in Rock Springs because there's no money to be made with the price per barrel, $43 or less. And 10 years ago, it was when it was thriving, and they started it. And the woman told me they had brand new trucks brought in that they bought and built a state-of-the-art facility for the oil processing and drilling and fracking, and it's over now. As I told the gentleman at the bar, how long has oil been the mainstay of energy in America? I don't know, 200 years? I said, it had a good run, but the run is over. President Biden's on the right path. He said alternative energy, climate change has to go on. We can't have any more destruction of the climate. It's the air we breathe. I told that to the gentleman, and they're very reluctant, these oil towns, to accept the truth. As I told them, the truth is, it's time to adapt. Rock Springs, what can they adapt? They can revitalize, become alternative. They have the largest wind farm up the road in Wyoming, over 100, it said at the display. They can do more of that. Maybe they can build electric batteries. And they also have another thriving industry that isn't going down the tubes. It's the largest supplier of trona, which is a soda ash they have trona deposits, which creates soda ash, which is used for making glass, 50% of it, and the other 50% for chemical manufacturing. And it's massive industry in Wyoming. It's, in fact, the largest deposits in the world are in southwestern Wyoming, and they supply the world with this ash that's necessary for glass. So they got that thriving industry. But the oil and natural gas is fading out. Alternative energy is the future. Biden has made the statement. The country's pushing for it. It is the right thing to do. And these smaller towns have to adapt. or they'll become ghost towns. As I said to the hotel clerk, will you become a ghost town? She goes, no, we went through the same thing in the 80s, and then we got the fracking going, and she goes, well, we'll find a way. There's too much here. She did say, though, that thousands of workers who were thrown out of work and came here from Oklahoma and Texas to do work in the oil industry went back to Oklahoma and Texas, back to their homes, she said. So that's kind of sad. But hopefully we don't become political about how we help these towns that are hurting because of the closing of oil industries and such. That we help them with the transition and create the alternative energy we want in these very towns. That would be the right thing to do, because Wyoming's a very Republican state. There's only 500,000 plus or so, but they're mostly Republican, very conservative state in that respect. And of course, we have a Democratic-controlled Senate and Democrat in the White House. So politics sometimes can play a real pivotal point in how they deal with where the jobs will go for creating alternative energy businesses and industries. So we'll see where it happens. But it's when you drive through these small towns like I'm doing now that you talk to the people and you understand what's going on with their economy, with their lives. Because you don't see this in the headline news, on the national network TV broadcasts. You see it when you drive through the towns and you stop and you talk to the people, which is what I was hoping to do on this trip. We'll continue that on Citizen Smith Across America as I head to Salt Lake City.